Before we delve into the moment when Iblis meets the angel of death, we must go back to the very beginning, to understand his nature, his arrogance, and his fate. Iblis was not always the cursed being we know today. In fact, he was once among the righteous, a devout worshiper, an entity that even the angels recognized for his piety and devotion. He was not an angel as some mistakenly assume, but rather a jinn, a creature created from smokeless fire. The jinn, just like humans, were created with free will. Some among them chose obedience, while others fell into disobedience. Among them, Iblis stood out. He was exceptional in his worship, so much so that Allah elevated him to the ranks of the angels in the heavens. It was an honor granted to him due to his apparent devotion and righteousness. He dwelt among the angels, witnessing the divine magnificence of Allah's throne, basking in the light of divine mercy and engaging in acts of worship. Yet, beneath this apparent righteousness lay a hidden arrogance, a disease that had not yet surfaced, but one that would eventually lead to his eternal disgrace. Then came the moment that changed everything. Allah, in his infinite wisdom, created Adam, the first human. Adam was created from clay, shaped by the very hands of Allah, and given a soul through his divine command. Unlike the jinn, who were created from fire, or the angels who were created from light, Adam was made from humble earth. Despite this, Allah honored Adam in ways that no creation before him had been honored. He was given knowledge that even the angels did not possess. He was taught the names of all things, the ability to comprehend, reason, and distinguish between right and wrong. When Allah commanded the angels and Iblis to prostrate to Adam, it was not an act of worship, but rather an act of honor, a recognition that Allah had chosen Adam for a great purpose. The angels, in their obedience, bowed immediately. They did not question Allah's command, for they are created without free will, submitting entirely to their Lord. But Iblis, upon hearing this command, was filled with rage, envy, and arrogance. He refused. "I am better than him," he declared with pride. "You created me from fire while you created him from clay." This statement was not just a refusal, it was a declaration of arrogance, an open challenge against the decree of Allah. In that moment, Iblis exposed what had been hidden within him all along. He believed himself superior. He saw himself as greater than Adam, worthier of honor, more deserving of divine favor. But in reality, his arrogance only led to his downfall. Allah cast him out of his mercy forever, branding him as a cursed one. But Iblis, rather than repenting, instead made a desperate request. He did not ask for forgiveness. He did not plead for mercy. Instead, he asked for time. "Grant me respite until the day they are resurrected." What did Iblis want? He wanted to delay his punishment. He knew that he could not escape Allah's decree, but he sought to prolong his existence, to delay his inevitable fate. But why? Because he had a plan, a wicked, sinister plan. He wanted to prove his superiority by leading Adam's descendants astray. He wanted to corrupt them, deceive them, and drag them into the same disgrace he had fallen into. Allah granted him this respite, but with it came a warning. "Indeed, you are of those who are reprieved, but surely hell is your promised place, and of those who follow you." And thus, Iblis became the sworn enemy of mankind. From that moment onward, he dedicated his existence to misguiding humanity. He whispered to Adam and Hawa and Jannah, deceived them into eating from the forbidden tree, and caused them to be sent down to earth. But unlike Iblis, Adam repented. He sought forgiveness, and Allah, in his infinite mercy, accepted his repentance. This was the fundamental difference between the two. One erred and repented, while the other erred and doubled down in arrogance. Despite his arrogance, despite his determination to mislead humanity, there is one truth that Iblis cannot escape: death. The inevitability of death is a decree that no creation can escape. Allah has decreed in the Quran, "Every soul shall taste death, then to us will you be returned." Surah Al-Ankabut 29:57. Every prophet, every king, every human being, every angel, every jinn, every creation will eventually meet its end. Even Jibril, as the greatest of the angels, will taste death. Even the mighty Israfil, who will blow the trumpet signaling the end of this world, will taste death. Even the angel of death himself will taste death. So how can Iblis, who was cast out of Allah's mercy, possibly hope to escape? Iblis, despite his arrogance, knows that his time will come. He does not know when, but he knows that his existence is limited. He has seen generations upon generations of humans pass before his eyes. He has whispered to them, deceived them, led them astray, and watched as the angel of death came to take their soul. He has seen the righteous die in peace, their souls taken gently, ascending toward the heavens, welcomed by the angels of mercy. And he has seen the wicked die in torment, their souls ripped from their bodies in agony, dragged toward punishment. Iblis has seen all of this, and yet he continues his mission. He whispers to the rich and powerful, making them believe they are untouchable, that their wealth will protect them from death. He whispers to the arrogant, convincing them that their status will grant them immortality. But he knows the truth. He knows that when the decree of Allah comes, there is no escape. And the most terrifying moment for Iblis will be when he sees the angel of death coming for him. At that moment, all his arrogance, all his pride, all his deception will crumble. He will realize that the time he begged for has run out. He will try to flee, but there will be nowhere to hide. He will cry out, but no one will answer. He will call upon his followers, but they will abandon him, just as he abandoned. And in that moment, the one who spent his entire existence leading others into destruction will face his own destruction. Death will come to Iblis, just as it comes to every soul, and when it does, it will be a moment of humiliation, torment, and ultimate loss. The one who once defied Allah's command, who once thought himself superior, who once swore to mislead mankind until the end of time, will finally meet his end. His arrogance began his downfall. His refusal to submit sealed his fate, and the inevitability of death will bring his mission to an end. But the question remains, what happens next? What will be the fate of Iblis after his death? Where will his soul go? What will happen to his followers? And what will be his final destination? We will answer all of this as we continue our journey into the fate of Iblis. Iblis has spent his entire existence deceiving humanity, whispering to them, misleading them, and dragging them toward ruin. He has witnessed countless generations come and go, seen kings rise and fall, and observed prophets being sent to guide people back to the truth. With each passing era, he adapts, finding new ways to manipulate, corrupt, and distract people from the path of righteousness. He delights in the destruction of souls, taking pleasure in every act of disobedience that distances a person from Allah's mercy. He has whispered in the ears of tyrants, convincing them that their power is eternal. He has whispered to the wealthy, making them believe that their riches will protect them from death. He has whispered to the sinners, deceiving them into thinking that repentance is for later, that they have all the time in the world. Yet he knows the truth. He knows that time is fleeting, that death is inevitable, and that he himself cannot escape. For centuries, Iblis has feared this moment, and now, finally, it arrives. The earth, which he has roamed freely for millennia, is no longer a place of refuge. The mountains, the oceans, the hidden realms of the jinn, none of them can shield him from the decree of Allah. And then he sees it. The sky darkens, the air grows heavy, an overwhelming force begins to descend upon him. The angel of death, Malak al-Maut, arrives with a presence so terrifying that even the most hardened of souls would shudder. Iblis has seen this angel before countless times. He has watched him take the souls of the righteous with ease, their faces glowing with tranquility as they are greeted by the angels of mercy. He has also seen him rip the souls of the wicked with unbearable agony, their screams of terror echoing as they are dragged toward their punishment. But this time, it is different. This time, the angel of death has come for him. Panic grips Iblis. He tries to flee, his form twisting and shifting, desperately seeking a way to escape. He rushes to the highest peaks of the mountains, but the angel of death is there, waiting. He dives into the deepest trenches of the ocean, but the angel of death is already there. He runs into the vast deserts, the darkest caves, and even attempts to hide within the unseen realms of the jinn. But it is all in vain. There is no escape from Allah's decree. For the first time in his existence, Iblis feels true, absolute fear. Not the fear of losing followers, not the fear of losing power, but the fear of non-existence, the fear of the unknown. He knows what awaits him, is torment beyond comprehension, and he knows that no amount of pleading will change his fate. The angel of death does not speak, he does not negotiate, he does not delay. He does what he has been commanded to do. With an unimaginable force, he reaches for Iblis's soul. Unlike the believers, whose souls are taken gently, with ease and mercy, Iblis's soul is ripped from his form with such intensity that the very fabric of his being is torn apart. The pain is beyond anything he has ever inflicted upon mankind. It is worse than the suffering of those he deceived, worse than the torment he caused. It is excruciating, endless, unbearable. Iblis screams, he writhes, he fights, but it is useless. The moment he feared has come, and now, he is no longer the deceiver, he is the deceived. The one who once promised his followers power, pleasure and freedom, is now powerless, broken, and alone. His cries echo through the heavens and the earth, but no one mourns him, no one pities him. The angels do not weep for him, the righteous do not grieve for him. The only thing that welcomes him is his eternal punishment. As his soul is torn from his body, the heavens rejoice, the earth breathes a sigh of relief. The jinn, both good and evil, are left in shock. The creatures of the universe witness the fall of the one who defied Allah for millennia. And just like that, Iblis, who once saw himself as superior to Adam, who once refused to bow in humility, is reduced to nothing. But what happens next? The death of Iblis is not just the end of an individual, it is the end of an era, the closing of a chapter in the story of existence. His death signals the beginning of the final days. His army, his devils, the legion of shayateen who followed him so blindly, are left in chaos. They had always looked to him for guidance, for leadership in their war against humanity, but now, their master is gone, and with him, their certainty shatters. In the depths of darkness, his followers begin to turn on one another. They whisper in fear, questioning what will become of them. They had always believed that Iblis would outlast them all, that he would remain forever as their commander. Now they realize that they too are mortal, that they too will face the same fate. The chains that bound them together begin to break, and panic spreads among them. But for humanity, there is no mourning for Iblis. The righteous, upon hearing the news, rejoice, knowing that their greatest enemy has fallen. The prophets, the martyrs, and the believers, who fought against his whispers, stand in triumph. The tyrants, the wicked, and those who chose to follow him, are left with nothing but regret. And then the truth of his betrayal becomes clear to all. Those who had pledged themselves to him, who had worshipped him, who had sold their souls for his empty promises, now realize the depth of his deception. The Quran foretold this moment, and Shaitan will say when the matter has been decided, indeed, Allah had promised you the promise of truth, and I promised you, but I betrayed you. I had no authority over you except that I invited you, and you responded to me. So do not blame me, but blame yourselves. I cannot help you, nor can you help me. Indeed, I deny your association of me with Allah before. Indeed, for the wrongdoers is a painful punishment. Surah Ibrahim 14:22. His followers, who once thought he would lead them to power and pleasure, now stand abandoned. There is no salvation for them. There is no return. The realization dawns upon them too late. They have been deceived, and now, they must face the consequence. Iblis's legacy, the empire of deceit he built, collapses. The world moves forward without him. His name becomes a warning, a symbol of arrogance and downfall, but his fate is not yet sealed, for his final destination awaits. The punishment that was promised to him from the moment he defied Allah now looms ahead. The doors of Jahannam creak open, and the fire, hotter than anything the mind can fathom, awaits his arrival. His fall is not just a personal loss, it is the end of everything he worked for, the end of his deception, the end of his kingdom, the end of his defiance, and the beginning of an eternal torment that he will never escape. The aftermath. Iblis, in the hereafter. Iblis, the one who once roamed freely, whispering into the hearts of men and jinn, has met his inevitable fate. His soul has been torn from his being, with unimaginable pain. His screams of agony are lost in the vastness of creation. But death is not the end for Iblis. Just as he deceived others into thinking that their lives would continue without consequence, he too must now face the consequence of his own existence. As his soul is seized, the universe does not grieve for him. The earth that he tread upon, the skies that he soared through, the creatures he corrupted, all stand as silent witnesses to his demise. His name was feared, cursed, and invoked by those who followed his whispers. But now, he is nothing, yet his punishment has only just begun. The angel of death delivers his soul, and what follows is a reckoning, unlike any other. When the souls of the righteous depart, they are embraced by the angels of mercy, wrapped in fragrant shrouds, and carried to the heavens with a procession of light and peace. But Iblis is neither righteous nor worthy of mercy. The moment his soul is taken, it is met with the angels of torment. Their presence is overwhelming, their form terrifying beyond imagination. These are not the gentle beings who greet the believers, nor the neutral collectors of the average soul. These are the enforcers of divine justice, those appointed to handle the worst of creation, and Iblis is the worst of them all. They wrap his soul, not in a cloth of purity, but in a dark, foul-smelling sack, one woven from the very essence of punishment. A stench so vile emanates from it that even the lowest of the devils recoil in horror. His soul is dragged through the depths of existence, past the gates of the heavens that he once dared to ascend, only to be denied entry. At every level, the angels at the gates do not greet him with light, but with curses, rejecting his presence with disgust. He is cast down, forcefully thrown back to the earth, where he is destined to await the final judgment. But the torment does not stop there. The torment of the grave is real, and while humans are placed in their earthly graves, Iblis is confined to an existence of unbearable suffering in the realm where he was cast down. The walls of his confinement press against him, suffocating him in a space that feels infinite, yet crushing. He is not given a moment of rest, for the angels of punishment continue their assault, reminding him of every lie he uttered, every soul he led astray, every false promise he whispered into the ears of humanity. Time in this state is incomprehensible. He remains in torment, awaiting the final resurrection, when all of creation will be gathered before their Lord. The day comes when the trumpet is blown, signaling the end of all life. The mountains crumble, the oceans boil, the skies split apart. Every creation that remains is destroyed. The mighty angels, the jinn, the humans, the creatures of the heavens and the earth, all perish. Even the angel of death himself is commanded to die, and then Allah alone remains, as he always has and always will. Then, with the second blowing of the trumpet, life is restored. The souls of mankind are returned to their bodies, rising from their graves, bewildered and terrified. The day of judgment has begun. Among those brought forth is Iblis. He is not given special treatment, nor is he spared the humiliation that he so often inflicted upon others. He is dragged forth, exposed in his disgrace, made to stand among those whom he deceived, his followers, those who worshipped him, those who obeyed him, those who placed their trust in his whispers, now stand in shock and horror. They had believed his promises of power, of freedom, of pleasure, but now, as they watch him stand alongside them, helpless and condemned, realization dawns upon them. He has no power here. He never had any real power. All he did was whisper. They were the ones who chose to listen. And then, before all of creation, Allah speaks. The final judgment is passed, and the destiny of Iblis is sealed. Jahannam, the very place he sought to drag others into, now calls for him. The chains of divine wrath coil around him, shackling his form, pulling him toward the abyss that has awaited him since the beginning. The gates of hell are opened, and the fire roars to life, eager to consume its most infamous resident. The very flames seem to recognize him, their heat intensifying. As he is brought closer, he resists, he pleads, he struggles, but there is no escape. His arrogance, his defiance, his self-proclaimed superiority, all of it has led him to this moment, and now, there is nothing left but regret. As he is cast into the depths, he experiences a torment beyond anything he ever inflicted upon humanity. The fire wraps around him, searing every part of his being. The chains tighten,
the weight of his sins pressing down on him with unbearable force. Every moment is agony, yet death does not come. He does not die. He does not cease to exist. He is kept alive to suffer, to feel, to regret. But perhaps the worst torment of all is not the fire, nor the chains, nor the pain. It is the knowledge that he has failed. He sought to prove himself superior, yet he has been humiliated. He sought to lead others astray, yet now they curse his name. He sought to escape death, yet he has been made to suffer eternally. His cries echo through the void, but no one listens. His followers who once praised him, now curse him. They scream at him, blaming him for their fate, demanding answers, pleading for salvation, but he can offer them nothing. He too is trapped. He too is condemned. And then, just as the Quran foretold, he speaks his final words to those who followed him. Do not blame me, blame yourselves. I only whispered, and you listened. I had no power over you except that I called you and you responded. It is the ultimate betrayal, the final admission of his deception. And then, he is swallowed by the fire, lost to the torment that will never end. But for the believers, there is no sorrow for him. The righteous stand in relief, knowing that their greatest enemy has been defeated. The prophets, the martyrs, the worshippers who resisted his whispers, all rejoice in the justice of Allah. And as Iblis fades into the abyss, the gates of Jannah open for those who remained steadfast. They enter into the gardens of eternity, greeted by the angels, embraced by the mercy of their Lord. There is no more fear, no more deception, no more whispers of doubt. For Iblis, there is only fire. For the believers, there is only peace. And in the end, the story of Iblis is not just the story of his downfall. It is a lesson, a reminder that arrogance leads to destruction, that disobedience leads to regret, and that the mercy of Allah is for those who seek it. His story has ended, but for those who still live, their story is yet to be written. Will they follow his path, or will they turn back to their Creator before it is too late?